I go crazy. Crazy for mine, and I'll go crazy. Crazy, I go crazy. Crazy for mine, I'll go crazy. And I'll go crazy. I'll go crazy. Crazy for mine, I'll go crazy. Let's go. Crazy for mine. Let's go, let's go. Hey, hey. Beat that thing down like you started a tantrum, my baby. You had some plans with your man, just tell him to cancel, my baby. Yeah. Slide to the crib, look like Dracula's mansion, my baby. When you pull up, it's on action, my baby. If these walls tall, they give you my track list. You know you shouldn't ask this. Those girls are just practice. I ain't one for the past tense. I'm just trying to get active. Sex game on savage, yeah. Crazy, huh? Crazy, huh? You don't know it's crazy, huh? Crazy, 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 huh? Crazy, huh? Crazy, huh? Crazy, huh? You know it's crazy. Yeah, crazy, huh? Let's go. Crazy, huh? Crazy, huh?
Jordan, say what's your price? Just to back it up, you can hold my eyes. Jordan, say what's your price? Just to back it up, you can hold my eyes. Jordan, say what's your price? Just to back it up, you can hold my eyes. Jordan, say what's your price? Just to back it up, you can hold my eyes.
What up?
The past couple weeks have been an absolute whirlwind for Marvel and for Disney.
Jordan, say what's your price? Just to back it up, you can hold my eyes. Jordan, say what's your price? Just to back it up, you can hold my eyes. Jordan, say what's your price? Just to back it up, you can hold my eyes. Jordan, say what's your price? Just to back it up, you can hold my eyes.
What up?
There is no sound. Okay, we're gonna do that over because evidently I was talking and there was no sound. All right. Make sure everything else is right. All right. Welcome back to another Sneak and Geek Live, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for not being here yesterday. I was a little bit under the weather. Yeah, I missed out yesterday. So let's do a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the news. We got a lot of news to go over today. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. For those of you, and I'm gonna remind y'all every time. For those of you who are really big fans of the channel and you want to help in the best way you possibly can, the best thing you can do for the channel, right, is to make sure you're subscribed, make sure the notification bell is on, and make sure that you are playing each video that drops. All right, it is working. You want to make sure that you play the video, and I know what you're thinking, like, what if it's a video of something you're not really interested in, a topic you don't really care for, or you're busy, or whatever the case may be. That's cool. All you have to do is put the video on mute and put the playback speed on 2x, right? That's going to get the video to play all the way through. You don't have to worry about it. And then we want you to hit the like button, because what that's going to do is it's going to drive up view time, and it's going to drive up engagement. And it's working, guys. Like every video now that I push out is at the very least getting that initial boost out into the algorithm, and so it's being seen. Like every video now, my long form content is doing like worlds better than what it was last month. So, and I don't know if that has to do with the fact that I'm putting out less shorts, but we're not gonna question it. Okay, so make sure you're following me on Twitter, Atreus_Max. Make sure you're following me on Rumble. We need 25 followers on Rumble to stream there. And we're gonna go ahead and jump into our first topic of today. Now, we do have some breaking news that we're gonna break. We do have some breaking news that we're gonna go over, but not just yet. So the first thing we want to do is we want to talk John Wick. But give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second, y'all. Because I was... Hmm. One second, y'all. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Okay. So speaking of John Wick again, now we know that John Wick exploded at the box office this past weekend, and we know that it's doing pretty well. But what we didn't talk about was that the film drew 69% male audiences and added 64 million overseas. It's Lionsgate's biggest success over the pandemic era. This person says, when you make a fourth in the action franchise, you have to expect it to go down. That is the nature of these franchises, said Joe Drake, chairman of Lionsgate Motion Picture Group. But we kept seeing signals, and it was wonderful to see the movie they delivered. We saw the audience wanting more. 69, you can go ahead and say 70%. 70% male audiences. What does this tell you? I don't know. Maybe when you don't alienate the men at the box office, you actually see who supports the box office. I don't know. Maybe when you make a movie like Shazam, coming out and talking about how gay one of your characters is does not appeal to male audiences. Ever think about that? The goofiness doesn't appeal to male audiences. Perhaps, and I'm just, presenting an idea, perhaps Hollywood needs to consider the possibility that men are your primary audiences. Now, I get what you're thinking, right? There's so much money, you're leaving so much money on the table if you don't prioritize women. I get it. The problem is you need to find another way to do it that doesn't include alienating the men at the box office. Because what's happening here is that there are women going to see this too, but the women go to see this with their man, with their dads, with their uncles, with whomever. And then you're going to get articles like this one right here. You're going to get articles like this one right here. Apparently, my ad blocker expired or some shit like that, Reed, so don't roast me. 5 lessons from John Wick's mega success I assume Hollywood won't take. Instead of John Wick clones or even spinoffs, how about just using the film as inspiration? Chapter 4 put a button on Keanu Reeves' Assassin Adventures for now, but the series isn't slowing down. The fourth pulled in 73 million in the U.S. over its opening weekend with a global haul of 137.5 million, a franchise best. Stilinski, screw that. We're gonna get to the 5. Okay, so a future franchise can start small. Agreed. You don't need this big, huge opening, right? You don't need, the first film doesn't need to cost you $200 million. John Wick Chapter 4's 3-hour runtime and enormous set pieces could fool misguided studio executives into thinking that big scope is the only avenue to big reward. Clearly, this theatrical studio executive did not see Reeves in 47 Ronin. Reeves and Stilinski are sitting on top of the world today because the industry had absolutely no respect for their vision. John Wick started off as a spec script from Derek Kolstad, who spent nearly 20 years trying to get any project off the ground, let alone an R-rated assassin movie. Producer Basil, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, saw potential on Kolstad's proto John Wick screenplay, then called Scorn, and enticed the writer to steer clear of studios who would likely bury it in a pile of other spec acquisitions. When Stilinski and Leach came on board, going indie in the $20 to $30 million budget range was the only way to make it happen, as no one in the traditional studio system had faith before the production. So, and I didn't even know that. So apparently the first John Wick was independent, I guess. So what's the second one? Level up more stunt and fight focused directors. Okay. We're not going to read all that. Mint movie stars with skills. Okay, cool. That makes sense. You take the movie stars and you get them to do stuff like Tom Cruise did this. I mean, he's jumping out of planes like a maniac. So yeah, movies can build worlds too. Absolutely, positively correct. And then 5 lights, camera, action, whatever that means. Okay. Yeah, Hollywood won't take that advice though. But I think it's important to understand that you cannot alienate male audiences. The men are the only ones that are really enthusiastic about your action films. I'm sorry, your action and your how do you call it? Your fantasy films. I mean, it's just that's just the facts. I don't know what else to tell you. Let me get into some of these. Let me get into some of these comments. Honey says, "Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, how you doing, Honey?" Reed says, "Just look at the Matrix. Started small and grew in each installment. Even with the hate from special effects, still did better and better. It's about how good you write." I agree. And quite frankly, Hollywood needs to take that lesson. And for one, y'all got to stop. Like, people in Hollywood have got to stop. You know, you got to come out your box. You gotta be willing to say, listen, I got $50 million for a passion project. And really, filmmaking is all about what you can do with what you have. So, you know, if you can't make your film happen with just $50 million, then perhaps you don't need to make your film happen. But, you know, unless your film is coming with a big installed fan base already, it's going to be hard pressed for Hollywood to take risk on your production. But I think what they did is, and that's why independent is it's very important for you guys to support your independent artists. It's so important to do it. It's so important to do it. But anyway, we're gonna move on. So guys, the Discord. All right. The Discord. Join the Discord. All right. I've decided that when we get to 50 people in the Discord, it's no longer going to be free. And right now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got room for 45 more people in the Discord. Now, granted, I might have to kick a specific person out because he is never active in the Discord. He hasn't been active since the beginning. But join the Discord. All right. We got 45 more spots left. After we get 50 people in there, it will no longer be free. All right. Let's move on to a small little story that I wanted to go over because I am a big fan of this young lady here. All right. And she got some awesome news that I want to share with you today. You guys remember limited run games? And Cara Lynn, I'm sorry, however you say it. This is Cara Lynn, okay? Remember back a few months ago, Cara Lynn was fired from limited run games for basically being a conservative and probably a Christian woman who was a fan of libs of TikTok and a couple other conservative centered accounts. And she was exposed by some trans weirdo who we're not even gonna give that person any oxygen. And limited run games overreacted and fired her. And so she ended up doing a interview back in January with Eric July, and everybody galvanized around her and supported her. Well, now she has news. She says, I am so excited to share that today is my official first day as the customer relations manager at the Rippaverse. Shout out to that guy, Eric July. Hold on, I want to do something really quick. Before I carry on, I want to do something really quick because this is quite annoying me. Okay, there we go. All right, that's annoying me. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, sorry about that. So she also goes on to say that Eric July and the team have had my back since everything went down back in January. Their support truly solidified that I wanted to join their family. Eric reached out to me and said he really wanted to put his money where his mouth is and set an example of how to fight back against the craziness going on in the world and social media in general. I'm truly grateful to be brought into this team and can't wait to see what the future holds. She says, let's kick some ass. You can see she got her own like profile picture up there as drawn like a comic book because it's, you know, comic book company. It says Cara has been a content creator for nearly 10 years. She made the jump into professionally working in the gaming industry 2020. She's an avid fan of The Witcher 3, cute dogs, and naps. Okay. If you like to talk video games and anime, you'll get along just fine. Sources close to Kara say her spirit animal is a honey badger. All right. And then she goes on to say, she says, one thing I like to add is that I reached out to Eric to see if I could still, oh, I'm sorry, I mean that I could still be involved in other projects such as show appearances. He not only approved, but actively encouraged that I continue to do whatever it is making me happy. So make sure to reach out if you're still interested in having me on to chat about nerdy shit. Congratulations, Miss Carolyn. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I said this back when we was covering this. That I either predicted that Eric would hire her or I said that he should hire her. I can't remember. Either way, I thought that something like this would happen. Because in my mind, I'm like, why don't you hire her? Here you have Melanie Mack, who is very supportive. Says that's the crossover that she didn't know that she needed. Nerd Roddick in support. There's our girl Cassie Cage. There to support. There's my guy Devil Dot Ellis. Elvis. I'm sorry, I called him Ellis. That Umbrella guy. So many people here to support what she has going on, and rightfully so. I mean, we're living in this time, right, ladies and gentlemen, where it is a literal death sentence in corporate America right now. Being a conservative just unfortunately will get you fired. It's sad to say. And so I tell most people to be careful who you're following on Twitter, but it shouldn't be that way. I feel like you should have to fight back, but I understand that so many people have families they have to support. And so it's hard to just come out here and ask people to fight back against the woke. But I feel like if more conservative people did it together, and here's the thing, don't assume I'm conservative. I'm neither or. I'm just doing my thing. But I feel like more people with sense, let's just say that, more people with sense need to come together so that they can stop having so much power. Let's get into these comments. Reed says, the trans who never even played the game either. Hello. Hello. Honey says, I don't use limited run games anymore due to turnaround time and false scarcity. Only Nintendo can get away with that. Reed says, she's a Hufflepuff. Is she? Did you see that? I missed that part. And Honey says, yeah, nap girl life. You know what's funny about naps? When I was younger, I used to tell people, when she tell you she's taking a nap, she lying. But women do just be randomly napping out of nowhere. I don't know. I'm a grown man. You know what I'm saying? Naps are for women and children. You gotta. Now when I say, I work overnight. So what I do is I come home. Oh, I mistaked you for saying Hufflepuff. I'm stupid. But I come home, I upload my videos, and then I go in there and go to sleep before the show. So anyway, next story. Guys, follow me on Twitter. Atreus_Max. Make sure you're sharing these videos out there. As I said before, it's really helping, right? It's really helping that you guys are playing the video. We're getting that watch time up. We're getting that engagement up. Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. You get what I'm trying to say. All right. Here's another small story I want to go over before we get into the big story. If you're white and you posted a GIF or meme of a black person to express a strong emotion, you may be guilty of wearing digital blackface. Can we get a moment of silence for just the pure insanity that is American journalism today? I mean, you can't make this shit up. Hold on. Because I didn't even pull up the original digital. Because we got to get into some of these comments and see what people had to say. They say CNN's digital blackface report roasted by the internet. No, seriously. Where is? Here it is. Here. Holy. This person says, I do agree that always using reaction gifs of black people if you're not black seems a bit icky. There are plenty of people eating popcorn gifs. What? How about black people are just entertaining? So there's a lot of moments that are captured online that we use to express ourselves. What? What in the fuck is going on? White people should really stop posting stuff and just listen for once. As you can see, Ukraine flag, rainbow flag. Yeah, we're going to ignore that one. Listen, this person says, Jesus fucking Christ, shut the fuck up. And Elon Musk responds, yo, Elon is a nigga, bro. Elon is a straight nigga, bro. That nigga be on Twitter all day trolling. I know he does, bro. I don't know if he's in retirement status or what. Facts. For shizzle, my nizzle. Facts. Next, they'll say you're guilty of audio blackface for singing along to hits by black audio blackface. We can't make this shit up. Where are we going in society? Digital black facts. And the trolling continues. See below for this morning's activism from CNN. This isn't journalism. This is it's media malpractice. Taking a critic's dishonest position, legitimizing it with unnamed experts, and writing a standard of guilty until proven innocent does absolutely nothing to inform the public. This person says the same guy says, hi, Mr. Griffin. My name is John Blake. I'm with CNN, the online news site for CNN. I'm requesting a response from Governor DeSantis or anyone from his office to an article I am writing about Governor DeSantis' decision to block the teaching of a high school advancement placement course on African American history course in Florida. I've talked to one of the nation's leading scholars on fascism, who, along with another scholar who is an authority on fascism, say that DeSantis' decision echoes similar decisions made by fascist dictators. Whatever. And the thing is, I, for the most part, don't think black people even ride with this bullshit. I really don't. I think this is just virtue signaling at its strongest. All right. Reed says not today. He drops a gif. Honey says a very emotive as well. I love the Michael Jackson eating popcorn. I do too. Don't give them any ideas. What you talking about, Willis? And different strokes from Honey. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move into our big topic of today. Okay, this was the big news of yesterday that, or really the day before. So Henry Cavill's Witcher is back in the news. Why for this time? Oh, I'm tripping. Well, according to Fandom Wire, the Witcher producers wanted Henry Cavill out since season 2 as he didn't respect them for being anti-source material. Yikes. Yikes. All of our suspicions, you know what I'm saying? Henry Cavill has been in the news lately ever since he lost his hit roles of Superman and Geralt of Rivia. Cavill failed to retain these roles despite receiving praise and support for them. The Man of Steel star was known for these signature roles, and losing them has surely unstabilized his professional career. Cavill's exit from The Witcher star has grabbed the most attention, as no proper reasoning was provided by the makers on the official grounds. As per the reports, Cavill would have been kicked out of the series way before. The Tudor star had to bid farewell to his beloved red cape after the entry of the new co-CEOs of DCU. James Gunn made it clear on several occasions that Cavill's exit with someone younger was necessary to reconstruct the DCU. Gunn announced that under his supervision, the new Superman movie will focus on the initial phase of Superman's life, and for this, it was important to replace Cavill. On the other hand, no such explanation was provided by the makers of The Witcher. Fans were shocked by the announcement of, can we get to the point? Okay. But several theories surfaced on the internet claiming the reasons for Cavill's exit for the Netflix fantasy drama has, per the reports, the Man of Steel star struggled to align with the writers of the show. Cavill reportedly would introduce last-minute script changes, which eventually distressed the makers and resulted in his exit. The Witcher, the popular Netflix series based on the book series by Sapkowski, Sapkowski, has had its fair share of controversies over the years. A new report has recently emerged. One suggests that the show's producers wanted Henry Cavill, the actor who plays the series' main character Geralt of Rivia, out since season 2. The reason for Cavill's departure from the show can be traced back to season 2. The report suggests that the show's makers were unhappy with Cavill's attitude towards the series storyline and his reluctance to follow their vision for the show. This is a surprising revelation given that that Henry Cavill has been a vocal fan of The Witcher. I think, how is that surprising? If he was so passionate about the source material that he reportedly campaigned for the role of Geralt of Rivia and even had a hand in shaping the character's appearance and personality for the show. However, Cavill's enthusiasm for the source material was hardly of any use to prevent his exit from the show. The report suggests that Cavill became increasingly resistant to the show's creative direction and was often at odds with the makers over how Geralt should be portrayed on screen. I mean, you can't make this shit up. And we say that a lot. On this channel, we say that a lot. You just can't make it up. You know, and Bo DeMayo over at X-Men 97, which we talked about recently. I need to see myself. He pretty much corroborated this story, right? He went over to X-Men and said that we need writers who are fans of the source material. You got to be a fan of the source material. And he talked about writers who did not respect the source material. The conflict reportedly came to a head during the production of season 2 when Cavill allegedly clashed with the show's writers and producers over their decision to deviate from the source material. This disagreement reportedly led to tension on set, with Cavill allegedly becoming increasingly difficult to work with as he grew more frustrated with the show's creative direction. The report suggests that the makers ultimately decided that they could no longer work with Cavill and made the decision to replace him. So basically, Henry Cavill was fired. Ladies and gentlemen, he was fired. They tried to make it seem like it was a mutual split, but It wasn't. He was fired. I mean, if this article is to be believed. Now, if you look here, these are the writers. These are the writers of the Witcher series. Of course, we know Lauren Hisry, Bo DeMayo, which we know his stance, Jenny Klein, Haley Hall, and Declan DeBarra. I mean, obviously, Sepkowski wrote the original. How much you want to bet there's a bunch of feminists? These people, this is what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen. Hollywood, as I've said multiple times before, people in Hollywood, they no longer have original stories to tell. And so they're taking nerd culture stories and they're using it to drive their own narratives. That's it. They took The Witcher that was supposed to be about the fucking Witcher, about Geralt of Rivia, and they wanted to push shit, I don't forgot their game. Yennefer and I forgot the young girl's name. They wanted to make it about them. But this is why when this series drops, I don't even care if season 3 has Henry Cavill in it. It's dead on arrival. Don't watch it. Don't hate watch it. Don't watch it go to see how bad it is. Don't, even if you like Henry Cavill, don't watch it. Boycott it. You have to show Hollywood that we will no longer tolerate people who just want to take your favorite IPs and turn it into what the fuck they want it to be. No, it's not about you. If you want to create something that's about what you want to create, then make your own shit. Otherwise, give us what the fuck we want as fans. And what we want in The Witcher is Henry Cavill. They should have made him producer of the show. They should have made him producer of the show. Let's check in on the comments. Woo! Reed says some of the best gifs on the internet are from colored people of color and their colorfulness. Right. The Hobbit is in the building. He says, "Hey, how you doing, The Hobbit? I appreciate you for being here. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in." Reed says, "Send him to Canada." The Hobbit says they don't even know the Lord. No, they goddamn don't. They don't. They don't know the Lord. And yeah, you know, what else can you say? Woo! So anyway, I'd like to remind you guys that for those of you who really want to support the channel, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure that your notification bell is set on. And then make sure that you're playing all of the videos that drop. Even if you're not interested in the particular video, the topic that I'm discussing, put the video on mute, put it on 2 times the playback speed, and hit the like button. That way it's going to play all the way through. You won't even notice it. It'll be gone in just a moment. The reason why I'm asking you to do that is because that is the best way to grow the channel. And it's working because, like I've said before, this month, as far as my long form content, has been the best month in quite some time. It's certainly better than February. And I mean, it's working. There's nothing else I can really say other than it's really working. Okay. So, yeah, continue to do that. Otherwise, if that's too much work from you, if that's too much work for you, you're more than welcome to hit the Cash App or hit the Venmo and donate to the channel directly. You know what I'm saying? So we could, you know, invest back into the channel. Anyway, we're going to move on. Let's see what else we had on the, oh, here's another story I wanted to talk about. Here is another story I want to talk about. So y'all know we still talk video games here, and so far I've kept it at a bare minimum because obviously you guys, at least the guys here, aren't all that interested in video game news. I can tell by the performance of those, but we still cover it because we cover all of nerd culture over here. And so one of the things that we know have been going on is that Microsoft has been trying to buy uh, Activision Blizzard, which is the biggest publisher in gaming, right? And Sony has been trying to block that shit aggressively. Well, Sony might have fucked up. Sony might have fucked up, ladies and gentlemen. Read this. 11 members of Congress argue Sony is unfairly hurting Xbox in Japan. Now, I want to bring up another article as well. Because I believe, yeah. Actually, we're gonna go with this article instead. Uh, U.S. Congress members accuse Sony of anti-competitive tactics against Xbox in Japan. Now, how this came about is a little complicated. So what happens is Sony wanted to come after Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and they created a new term, right? They called it high-end console. They called it high-end console gaming, right? And what they were trying to do, they were trying to exclude Nintendo because they tried to make it seem like it was just Xbox and PlayStation, and that the acquisition of Activision Blizzard would make Microsoft a monopoly and give them an advantage in high-end console gaming, right? And so creating that term, they brought attention on themselves. Get this shit off my damn screen, man. Damn Kaiser Permanente, get out of here. They brought attention on themselves for, look at this garbage, man. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. But they brought attention on themselves describing that. And basically, they've had a bunch of, they've been manipulating things behind the scenes in Japan so that Xbox cannot make way in Japan. If you know anything about the gaming industry, you know Xbox has always struggled in Japan. And I never even considered the possibility that Sony was possibly doing things in the background to prevent Xbox from making way in Japan. So 11 members of U.S. Congress have signed letters raising concerns of anti-competitive tactics purportedly being used by Sony to gain an advantage in the Japanese video game market over its primary competitor, Microsoft. The two letters, which were signed by members representing both major U.S. political parties and obtained by Axios, were addressed to Ambassador Catherine Tai and U.S. Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo. Today, we write to bring your attention the imbalanced Japanese video game market, which we are concerned may be a result of discriminatory trade practices that could violate the spirit of U.S.-Japan Digital Trade Agreement. The statement noted that Microsoft had attained negligible 2% share of the high-end console market since it began selling in Japan in 2002. The lawmakers suggest that the 20-year failure to make inroads resulted in part from Sony's strategy of systematically negotiating to make popular third-party games PlayStation exclusive and paying to keep content off of Microsoft consoles. Our understanding is that the Japanese government tolerates a range of exclusionary conduct by their domestic companies that may violate Japan's antitrust laws, and that this inaction by the Japanese government harms the ability of U.S. companies to compete in the country. According to a second letter signed by members from the state of Washington, which happens to play host to Microsoft headquarters, such practices could undermine the U.S. Japan Digital Trade Agreement. This agreement commits Japan to providing non-discriminatory treatment to U.S. digital products such as console games. Now, you heard what they said earlier, the high-end console market. That is a term that was used by Sony to describe the competition between them and Microsoft to exclude Nintendo. They did this to themselves, and now they're about to be investigated because the response from the Japanese, if I'm not mistaken, if I can get to the quote, the quote isn't here. The Japanese representative said something along the lines of, this is my first time hearing of this, but we're going to look into it. Now, does that mean something's going to come of this? Probably not. But the point is that in trying to stop Microsoft from acquiring Activision Blizzard, Sony shined a light on them damn selves for investigation into malpractice in the market. And so, congratulations, Sony. You fucked it up. All for this just for the deal to go through. How do you look? All because you don't want to compete. And as I've told y'all before, if Microsoft ever decided to go all in on gaming, Sony would not be able to compete. And this is Microsoft's way of going all in on gaming. Now, that does not mean that Microsoft is going to start dominating in the market. Just because they went and spent $70 billion on Activision Blizzard and $7 billion on Bethesda does not mean anything. You've seen what happened to Disney when they went and spent all that money to get Star Wars and Marvel. Oh, and by the way, Fox. They ain't did shit with Fox. So, well, that's that. Sony made their own beds. Let's see. Reed says, I won't even watch the episodes I missed. Henry got paid already. I won't pay them fools. Agreed. Honey says, video game news. That's right. Can we go over that Star Wars girls the vampire cosplay? I'll take a look at it. I remember Sear Hinge for Japanese RPGs for Xbox 360, and it's significantly smaller than PlayStation titles. Yep. Yeah. She meant to say searching. They did the same thing with Red Dead, GTA, and The Last of Us. Honey says, I thought it's because Japan didn't like the bulky American hardware. Well, now they have the option of the Series S. And from what I can tell, from what I've heard, Japan actually likes the Series S. So let's see. Let's look at let's go to Discord. Because Reach wants us to look at the Star Wars girl. Direct messages. Happy Monday, everyone. New vampire cosplay coming along. Stay tuned. It's a very attractive woman. I can tell you that. But this is why, it's very important that we continue to grow the channel so that we can get people like her on the platform. Or in her DMs, whichever one works. Reed's trying to get me in trouble. Reed just trying to get me too, y'all. Gosh, have we gone an hour already? Holy, have we gone an hour? Oh no, we haven't gone an hour. Okay. Oh shit, damn near an hour. Okay, so where we at? What we got left? There's a couple of stories I might miss. Mm. Okay. So we got some updates on Victoria Alonso. We have updates on Victoria Alonso. I gotta do something with these ads. It's just getting annoying. So Kevin Feige was super annoyed as Victoria Alonso seeks big payout from Disney and Marvel. It's claimed Alan Bergman and Kevin Feige both became super annoyed over her side projects and ignoring Marvel. Holy. All right. It said Kevin Feige has been super annoyed with Victoria Alonso with it learned she is seeking a big payout from Disney and Marvel after being fired, now said to be due to a breach of contract. A week ago saw the surprising news that Victoria Alonso had been let go from her position as executive producer and president of physical and post-production VFX and animation production at Marvel Studios after being with the company for 17 years. Subsequent reports have explained that Disney decided to end Victoria Alonso's contract effective immediately and fire her over her involvement in promotion of Argentina 1985, where Alonso actually chose to walk the press line at the Oscars for Argentina 1985 instead of walking the press line for the multiple nominated Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and she was dismissed 8 days later. Then, exactly as I said would happen, Alonso, through her lawyers, has threatened a lawsuit against Disney and Marvel where she is basically being labeled as a hero of the LGBTQ community, where her firing is explained by Alonso standing up to Disney for her LGBTQ politics and rights. This isn't surprising. We knew that she was going to use her identity as a weapon against Disney. Now, according to Puck News, which is an entertainment news site made up of former editors and writers that wrote for the Hollywood trades, what Victoria Alonso is actually seeking is a big payout from Disney. It said Disney fired Victoria Alonso without pay, so what Alonso is really after is money. Beyond Glazer dropping a headline generation bomb on Friday that a gay Latina was silenced for speaking out against her company's handling of Florida's Don't Say Gay bill. This is a simple money fight. What is interesting, as the article points out, is that Disney could have simply ended the battle by paying Alonso out, but as Disney chose not to do that and instead terminated her without pay, that means Disney gave her the invitation to take the fight public. Yeah, I see a lot of people who are saying that they thought this was a dumb decision. They should have just paid her. I don't think so. I don't believe so. I believe that they chose to invite the public fight because they knew they would win. That's what I believe. I believe there's some people at Disney that aren't being given the credit that they deserve as far as their fight to get Disney back to what it was. And I think that the only way Disney would do this is if they've been tired of her anyway. And which is why I believe it when Kevin Feige, listen, Kevin Feige had so many projects. Remember, there was complaints coming out that he was too spread apart. And so she's running things. And he probably got extremely annoyed by the fact that this is what happens when you hire feminists. Her number one priority is not Disney. Her number one priority is the message. Being a woman of color, and being a woman of color who's LGBTQ. This was a platform for her to use to push her agenda, and this is what we've been trying to fight against. So adding everything up, let's get back to the article. So adding everything up, it seems that Victoria Alonso didn't get permission from Disney to work on her own project. And when Disney found out, Disney ended up giving her permission, albeit with a rework contract where she wasn't supposed to promote the release of the film, but Alonso chose to go against and ignore her contract multiple times and promoted the movie, all while there have been problems with Marvel's VFX, so Disney fired her. So there you go. I mean, this lady was a menace. You got to stop hiring these people, Disney. Warner Brothers, everybody else. You got to stop doing it. It's not going to work. They're all about the message. They care more about the message than they do about the growth of the company. And that's just what it is. Reed says, I am a huge fan of her. She is a really cool YouTube person. I'm actually subscribed to her channel. I remember Anna drawing Vampirella variant cover. Honey says for Patreon, maybe. What do you mean? I like that she is friends with It's a Gundam and Brittany Venti. I like Brittany Venti. Yes, that's how I found her. It's a Gundam. Disney is getting bashed by the woke for not being woke. Yeah. Yep. So whoo, guys, that has been the Sneak and Geek for today. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. The Hobbit, Honey, Reach. We will continue Resident Evil 4 tonight at 6:30. Can't wait to see you guys there. Remember to follow me on Twitter. Remember to share this video. And remember, guys, to play each video when they drop all the way through. Let's get the watch time up. Let's continue to get the engagement up. We're moving along. We'll be at 5K subscribers in no time. And Reach, I did not forget stuff. It's just we want to keep the show at an hour. We don't really want to go over an hour. I'm gonna do a separate video on Jonathan Majors and Captain America, and the X-Files. And then I'm gonna save some topics for tomorrow because we want to keep the show at an hour. Also, I'm working on getting another guest here on Saturday because after things fell through with the guests that this weekend, they're now avoiding me. I hate it when people do that. They do something goofy. And they don't want to face the fact that they did something goofy, so they just avoid you. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll talk X-Files. We'll talk. I'm thinking about doing another Jonathan Majors video separately, but we'll see. So, guys, I appreciate it for stopping by. That has been the Sneak and Geek for today. I am going to go and find me something to eat because my stomach is empty, dog. All right. I'll talk to y'all a little bit later. Much love.